It's beginning to look a lot like Keystone. Copycat's Christmas. Take a listen and then you'll see just how festive our show can be with Chris and Zach.
Hello and welcome to Keystone Copycats. Chris and Zach. I, of course, am your host, Zach, and he, of course, is your other host.
Twitter Tofferson. It's Christmas, Zach.
Christmas Zach. I like
Probably.
that guy.
I messed up on that timeline again.
I don't know. Ahead,
I don't know where we are, but if it's if this is Christmas Eve, I hope that you get a bunch of presents tomorrow morning and not tonight, because that would be wrong. Don't give out Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, you fools.
I don't think it is Christmas Eve yet.
Oh, it's not?
I don't think so.
Well, and also,
you know what?
Everything I said stands true, almost truer than normal. Shining bright like a beacon in the stars.
Scars.
Like a beacon of stars.
You know, this might be the week of Christmas. I don't know. Look, the point is, I don't know.
Oh.
That's the point here. I don't know.
Why? So why are they listening to you? You need to defend
I don't know
yourself.
things.
Oh.
Look, I have come on here
you
for,
have.
However many episodes, and I have proudly announced that I don't know anything at all.
And I denounced
because I'm a big dum-dum.
Well, one of those things.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, jeez. This again. This
again. You know what you don't do at Christmas? Put someone on a jury.
I do.
I got jury duty, Zach.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Have you ever had jury duty before?
No.
I'd like to. Sounds fun.
Why?
I don't know.
They already canceled my first jury date. I guess they freed the guy. I guess they found him innocent. Or maybe he pled guilty. I don't know. But they were like, don't come in.
No, they listened to our show and were like, we don't want this guy.
But they couldn't officially denounce me.
Not this guy.
They could only just do a mass clearing of the situation.
Not this pervert who's in love with a child from the 70s.
They let the guy off the hook. That's not true. Just because you want to have sex with someone doesn't mean you're in love with them.
That's what it means.
And it's not the child. Like, you keep fucking... This is going to make me look so bad.
No,
you say
the Freaky Friday episode makes you look so bad.
She is a woman. She's a woman. A born woman.
Oh.
Maybe even born-again woman.
No, she's not born again.
Why? Because she has a wife?
I don't think she has a wife, does she?
I think that makes you not born again by definition.
I don't think she's married.
Okay, well.
I don't know.
Not yet.
I don't know.
I haven't proposed.
You have multiple times.
Oh, wait, that's right. I haven't been in love with her yet.
Yeah. Anywho, jury duty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I don't have to go, which is exciting because I really didn't want to go until they rejected me, and then I was like, well, why?
What, I'm not good enough for you?
Yeah. I just want to, because I want to build a character. I don't want to go in as me. I would go in. This is like when I was doing the accent when I was a cashier to spice things up, and then my
at the World Market?
The new manager came in, and I was doing the accent to him, and then I found out who he was, so I just did it for like a week, but I couldn't be around other employees because they would catch me, so I just did it to him. It was like the shitty British accent. And then one day I just stopped doing it. But luckily he was only there for 2 more weeks, so it kind of didn't matter. So he didn't ever come up and be like, "Hey, what the fuck was that about?" He was just like, "Oh, that guy's fucking insane." Because the actual answer is, "Oh, that guy's fucking insane. Why bother him? We'll just put him on jury duty later."
Yeah,
pretend jury duty.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the World Market?
One under, thank God. It was one of those shitty places where, like, if something came in if something came in damaged, you had to destroy it versus giving it. I mean,
that's everywhere.
And shit came in damaged all the fucking time. I did
everywhere.
A 5 a.m. unload the trucks, and it was always damaged.
Yeah, when I worked at Home Depot, there was so much shit that they would just throw away because they're like, no, we get manufacturer credit for it.
Yeah.
So there was this one time.
You had to prove that you were destroying it, though.
Yeah, they had all the. Well, we didn't. I don't know, man. Whatever. But there was this. There was all these tin yard decoration stuff, little like stamped like people or whatever, like for I forget if it was for Christmas or for
This doesn't seem like a real
Halloween or something. But like I was trying to get, there was just like stacks and stacks of these little like people like that were like decorations, yard decorations, and I tried really hard to get them so I could fill your yard with them. And they were like, no, we can't. We have to throw them. And I was like, but if you're throwing them away, can't I just take them and put them in my friend's yard? And they were like, no.
This came in play on another job when we were throwing out old machines, and I was like, well, like, why can't I take them? Said, oh, they have to go in the dumpster. I was like, okay, but like I can come back after hours. They said, well, no, because that's theft. I'm like, it's in a dumpster. I really don't understand this premise because I'm an employee. I'm allowed on the premise, so it's not trespassing. I'm just moving the trash. If I took a thing of trash, like a trash bag, and threw it in my car, you'd be like, that guy's crazy. Like, you wouldn't like that's illegal.
No, it is. It is illegal. What fucking nightmare society do we live in where like taking trash out of a dumpster is theft? Like, that's insanity.
You mean like dumpster diving?
Yeah, exactly like that.
There's a lot of these stories where I went into the dumpster to get some shit.
Trader Joe's throws out so much like produce that's edible and food. Like, that's like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. These are like the like high mark of like dumpster diving. Like, I had a bunch of friends who like just lived like this for a long time because you can.
Yeah.
And like, they throw out so much edible food. It's so wasteful and so shitty.
The bread. Oh, the bread.
No, Zach. We're not talking about the Hot Pocket meatball sandwich.
What?
That's.
Oh, yeah. That's what that was. So everybody else who doesn't know what the fuck we've been talking about for 5 minutes, welcome back. We're doing. We're in the middle of a Christmas ding dong.
Smack dab in the middle.
What do we have? One more left, or was this
one more after this?
Is this okay? I was gonna say, is this a finale? And I didn't.
No, we have one more after this.
Then, well, this can't be the week at Christmas. Then
it shouldn't be.
It can't be,
and it won't be.
God,
in our hearts, in our minds, in our butts.
Know what you've done now? Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up.
Yeah, this is number 3. We're doing 4 because there's 5 weeks, 5 Wednesdays.
Wow, you just showed off your counting skills.
There's 5 Wednesdays in December. Brother. So,
what are we doing this week?
This week we're talking about a little picture from the year 1946 called "It's a Wonderful Life," directed by Frank Capra.
We had a discussion last night because we couldn't peg the time. I was thinking it might have been 30s.
No, so here's how I knew. It takes place partially, like, it takes place between, I think, 1919 and 1946. So I knew because the director, and this is something I wanted to bring up anyway, there's this really great documentary series. It's 3 parts. It's called 5 Came Back, and it's about 5 directors who were, like, at the peak of their, like, popularity, their power, whatever, during World War II, who left Hollywood and made propaganda videos for the U.S. government.
Yeah, I
during World War II.
I had something, and before we even start this movie, I guess we can talk about this portion. Did in It's a Wonderful Life, did it not seem strangely odd how they just went straight, that they spent like 1 minute on talking about the heroes of the war, and then the war effort real fast, and they're like, the only reason that Jimmy Stewart couldn't go is because of his ear. But he was a patriot at home, and they kind of made a little silly thing about how he was the air raid, whatever. Yeah. But didn't it seem like forced in, like they were like, oh shit, we better target this since this is such a victory?
I would say no, because Frank Capra is one of these directors who did this, and this is the very first movie he made after doing.
But do you think it needed to be directly established?
I think it was important to him.
For him, not for the audience.
Yeah, I think it was important to him to do that, to show that, like, that he was still, like, doing his part at home, and he was a good, like, so he had a heightened idea
to build credit
of that.
with him instead of just being like a Dodger or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And also, what's really interesting, and this is all stuff you would learn about in this documentary, which I highly recommend.
Not me. Don't gesture at me. I wouldn't learn shit.
But the documentary is like 5 modern directors talking about, like, film history and World War II and these, like, directors of the era. It's really great. I
don't know if I could get through it. I'd probably put on those glasses that have the eyes that are awake, so I could sleep behind them.
But
watched it.
this was the first movie that Frank Capra made.
And then I would have ears, like fake ears that go over my ears, but there's no holes, so I couldn't hear anything. So there's no sound for me, but everyone thinks I'm listening because I have ears.
I feel like maybe you should just put a pumpkin on top of your head. Is that a...
Do you think they would think I was paying attention?
Yeah. You draw eyes on it. You draw eyes on it. You draw ears on it.
That's not the right holiday. That's Halloweeny.
You put a
snowman.
A Santa hat on it.
No, you put a snowman.
You put a Santa hat. You paint the pumpkin white. Okay. Paint the pumpkin white. Give it eyes and ears. A carrot nose. You put a Santa hat on top, and they'll think you're paying attention. And it's pretty jolly.
You're probably gonna get promoted. I was just gonna say a big snowball on my head with the carrot in it, but that okay.
We don't have any snow yet. You have to fake it.
We go to Perfect North. Get some fake snow.
Sure.
Or we just buy the fake snow machine. Which I think is a freezer.
From last week's episode?
Yeah, which we didn't get the chance to talk about.
We didn't talk about.
Some of my notes I didn't touch last week. We can talk about them now.
No.
You want to talk about this movie? A little synopsis?
I do want to say, so what I was saying, so this was the first movie.
We're way past that.
That Frank Capra made after coming back from World War II, and it was he and a couple other directors had joined together to start their own independent studio. So this was coming out of Hollywood, studio system and all that kind of stuff, where actors or directors would be in contracts with studios to make movies. So it was a lot more controlled by studios. So this was the first picture that Frank Capra was making under this new independent film model, and it was such a flop that it bankrupted
this
Liberty
movie
Pictures.
Was a flop?
Yeah, it was it was a critical failure. It didn't make back its budget. It did terribly, and only became the success and holiday classic that it is because it fell into public domain, and so many cable channels and TV channels would pick it up and air it because anyone could use it.
All right, well, we're going a little too far into the movie without announcing.
I think this is some interesting backstory. So let's.
I know, but I just want to. Let me read my ding dong.
Let's get your synopsis,
and then we'll start with the ding dongs.
Ding dong.
So after George Bailey wishes he had never been born, an angel comes to Earth, and George starts to realize how many lives he has changed and how different the world would be without him in it.
I watched the wrong movie.
Oh, what'd you watch? Batman.
I watched Waiting with Ryan Reynolds.
It's really hard to go back and watch that movie.
I've never seen it.
I remember loving that movie, and now you're like, oof.
Yeah.
This is not good. And you know what it is? It's those fucking early 2000 movies. You're just like,
the early 2000s comedies specifically are
it's hard to watch.
Well, and we came across something similar to that when we watched, what was it? The
a lot of movies.
The Change Up or whatever with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman. That had that vibe of I might have liked this when it came out, but
my son and I in Halloween we kept watching those early
scary movie.
The scary movies, but from 2008-ish times, the remakes when they relaunched.
Oh, sure.
Relaunched it,
your Hills Have Eyes, your Chainsaw Massacre,
and you're just
Halloween.
Yeah. These are rough.
I thought Halloween was good. I mean, granted, I haven't seen it since it was in the theater.
Well,
but
no, that was later. Rob Zombie did in 2013, right?
Was it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it was. I
grouped those all kind of together, but I don't. I don't know.
A grouper?
Yeah. The movie I worked on.
By definition. So anyway, back to whatever the fuck you were saying about Hollywood. I forget what I was gonna get at, but they were airing it for free because it was public domain.
It's I don't know. It's kind of like the way that A Christmas Story is
how
so ubiquitous during the holidays.
Yeah. How is this a Christmas movie? Because I realize this just takes place at Christmas.
I say yes.
All of a sudden, it was at the end. I'm like, wait a second. This really didn't have a whole lot to do with Christmas.
Well, and I realized that.
And this brings up the Die Hard, which by the way, I just watched that again for you.
Oh.
So we all just watched Die Hard. I'm like, oh no, I like the movie.
Die Hard's good. It's
fun. Now that I've got past I have to like it, I'm like, oh no, I like it.
No, it is good.
It's a good movie. Because once again, going back to Hans Gruber, you're like, Alan Rickman. Back to your question a couple weeks ago, what do I think? I'm like, oh no, this is great. He really is fucking dynamic in this. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, well, this Die Hard is just as much of a Christmas movie as this is a Christmas movie because they don't. besides at the end, like every time a bell rings,
Yeah.
there's not much going on. It's just based
It
around
takes place
Christmas.
at Christmas, the like heart of the movie.
The story could have existed if it was at fucking Easter.
One thing I noticed though is that it's an hour and 20 minutes into the movie before we get to present day.
Yeah.
This is
I watched this for the first time last year because it was one of my ex-wife's favorite movies, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't
love
understand why everyone loves this movie so much. But it was the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
So the second time, once again, I could appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that. So I'll say this, and I did a little bit of research on this movie, and it is, so it is based on a short story, which was based on A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Like loosely,
Now,
they're both loosely
don't
based.
you think that this story is actually like an outsider watching the Christmas story?
Kind of.
Like, is Potterson Scrooge? Because
Potter is Scrooge.
He does. Is it Potterson?
Potter.
Whatever. So because he comes by, the first time you see him, he's in a carriage, and you're like, "Is that a
Yeah.
callback to Marley? Like
So-
Marley being in the fucking carriage?"
Here's the thing. So that was Lionel Barrymore, and
Because there's cars. Why was he in a carriage?
Right. I love that. I love that. Because they're like, who's that? No, I really love that. But no, so it is, and in my notes, I said like, oh man, Potter is a great Scrooge. Like he would be a great Scrooge. And then in like my research later, he famously had like portrayed Scrooge in these like radio dramas. So like
really?
he was Scrooge, and that's part of the
Okay.
reason that he was cast in that role, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, he has good facial expressions. He
yeah.
definitely looks melty
Oh yeah, he does. And like
and plump.
I don't know if or when, but his hair looks fake always.
Yeah,
It looks like
from
he has like a
behind? From
rubber
behind?
like
when
It's
Jimmy
insane
was
looking.
declining the offer, I want to say when he was declining the job offer of
no,
$20,000
the
a year.
answer's no.
Behind him, I'm like, is that a fucking mannequin? Like his hair looks so matted. I'm like, there's no way that's not a fucking Lego cut. Like, I'm like it was pressed onto his head.
I loved it.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, no, so I thought that was really cool. And like, so some of the stuff that I kind of noticed was like that, and obviously like, you know, this one is a little kind of looser with the whole Christmas story
these
thing.
are a little bit loose. Caught on, except for the first one.
And the last one.
Well, don't tease everybody.
I love a tease.
Get me half cocked over here.
Yeah, half-dicked. But
It's like
so-
the hot dog way, like long wise.
so I think this is a looser one, and the way we've talked about like the town being kind of like Point Break,
Oh, that's a good movie.
and then like Palm Springs being like the more modern version of
I like that
Groundhog
one,
Day
too.
that you know people will talk about with the time loop. I think this is the story that people go back to more than A Christmas Carol. Even though we've seen like there are lots of adaptations, there are lots of versions of it, but I think this is like the modern tale that has the same type of moral, which is about hang on, let me get my notes here because I had the good wording for it. So yeah, it's Bailey and Scrooge have this one thing in common, and it's that they both
Have penises.
well, yeah, that too.
Peni.
So two things in common: hogs and.
Scrooge might not have a dick. Remember we talked about the masturbation
We
thing.
talk about that. No, but they're both not aware of the effect that they have on the world. So George Bailey for the positive, Scrooge for the negative. Like, so in A Christmas Carol, we see that like Scrooge doesn't see the negative effect that he has on the world. He's not fully aware of that. And part of that story is like him going out and seeing the negative impact that he has and the positive that he could be doing.
Yeah.
And for George, it's seeing if I'd never been born, all these things that I had touched, all these lives that I had touched, all these like events that I had stopped or been a part of or whatever don't happen, and the
Why didn't you
negative
say
that comes
touch,
from it.
touched again? You said
Touched.
it twice, and then you changed it the last one. You should have said touched again. All these things he touched, and these jobs he had touched, and these people he had touched. Why didn't you say that?
Touched.
He touched everything.
I'm gonna touch you.
But as you said, about 120 or whatever it was, like 120.
It's an hour and 20 minutes in before.
before it
Get
happens.
to present day.
It's interesting because Christmas Carol takes obviously the whole fucking movie to do his arc.
Yeah.
Where really
We get all this
it's
great
almost
backstory.
like it's kind of like two different stories in It's a Wonderful Life, because it's just, oh, this is a really good dude who just keeps not hitting the mark as far as what he wants to do in his life, even though he's being beneficial to all these people. He doesn't get to go travel the world and go to college and whatever. And
I'm
be a
gonna
success,
see the world.
and be a success in his eyes. And then all of a sudden, it's more or less like a quick occurrence with the angel, which at first it's God, it happens in like 15 minutes. That the transition happens where he's like has this appreciation, but that's kind of like. I mean, I guess you'd compare it to like a dream. When you have a nightmare, all of a sudden you wake up and you have a realization, like, damn, like, because you can't remember much of the dream.
It's
just
more
real,
of a feeling.
It's just real fast, but that's kind of what this is.
I like that.
Like, once you go home and realize your family's in there, that is enough for you to joy. You'd be like, holy shit, no, my
and
life is
seeing how
amazing.
negatively impacted everything is. Like, I love when he goes to see his mom, and she's at Ma Bailey's boarding house, and he's like, well, I know everyone, you know. I know Uncle Billy. And she goes, when's the last time you saw him? And he goes, oh, I saw him just today. It's a lie. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. But did you know that Back to the Future 2 took from this premise of the Biff Town or whatever it is, like of all the casinos and everything?
Like Pottersville?
That was based off Pottersville?
That rules.
But you look at a Pottersville and you're like, this looks like a happening town. Like,
Yeah, that's the town I would visit. I wouldn't go
see it
hang out.
as-
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't want to live in Pottersville, but I would go visit Pottersville for maybe like a bachelor party weekend.
And it really was just sex and alcohol. And they're
Yeah.
like, no. I'm like,
and
that's
hot jazz.
Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, it's interesting. That's why I say this is almost like a Christmas Carol from the outside perspective,
Yeah.
where someone else is having a bit of a moment that was like, it was almost like if you imagine Cratchit's life, like the Cratchit version of Christmas Carol, where he's also having a midlife crisis while Scrooge is being a prick and going through his, you know?
Yeah, except in this version, Scrooge is still a prick and will always be a prick and will never be better.
Yeah, Cratchit was probably a bad example. Well, you see what I'm saying? Like, just
Yeah,
another,
for sure.
another diverge.
But I think that Clarence in this he's all three of the ghosts.
Why in the fuck is he a watchmaker in heaven?
I don't know.
What's with that opening was
That
very
old
confusing.
watchmaker.
And they were talking about how he's kind of like, I can't remember what they called him.
Stupid?
Yeah. they made fun of him.
It's the intelligence of a child and also the innocence. And you're like, this guy makes clocks and you think he's as stupid as a child.
Yeah. They really bashed him at those floating solar systems.
Balls of cotton.
Yeah.
Swirly balls of cotton. Did you watch the...
I like the camera movement past the moon, though. That was good.
Yeah. Did you watch the color version or black and white?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I would say black and white.
Yeah, I did black and white. I prefer black and white. So I noticed some interesting...
Oh, wait, no. It was color because I kept thinking something was wrong.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that, I'm like, God, they have a lot of fucking makeup. Didn't even register that it was supposed to be a black and white.
It was. So they did black and white,
messed
and
up.
there's a colored version, which is
I did.
interesting.
I watched that one because it was on whatever the hell it was streaming from.
Amazon
Prime.
Well, they have both. And there's a 4K one that you can rent, which I was like, I'm not paying money if there's two other versions that I can watch for
it's
free.
cool. You're cheap. You're like Scrooge. No big
It's
deal.
stupid. Why spend money when I don't need to?
There, that's Scrooge.
Hey,
Scrooge
hey,
talk.
quit putting coal in that furnace. Hey, you've had your shovel full. No, but did you notice like some of the there was some interesting like technical stuff. Like there was a lot of jump cuts.
Okay.
Where it would be like there's a scene that clearly was meant to be like a follow through with like, one kind of take.
Yes,
they didn't shoot
yes,
coverage
yes.
to, but they would just cut to a different take of it. And it was just a little off. Like there was a bunch of stuff like that, which was like, okay, you can forgive that for 1946. But like, then there was also like the opening, like it opens on this bell ringing, it unites this whole like theme of like the bell ring, the angel wings, all that stuff. And it opens and closes with that same bell. But the aspect ratio
Angel
of the
Wings
bell
is a really good wrestling move. It's like a sit-out pedigree.
I don't know what that is. Tim, can you tell me what that is?
It's a double arm face buster drop.
I don't know what that is. So, but it's the the aspect ratio of that shot of the bell, the opening bell, is like a square. And I had it on, and I was like, that aspect ratio is weird. Why is it like that? And then when like the full movie came in, it widened out to like, not a full like 16:9, not like my full TV, but it was like, more normal. And I was like, what are they doing? What was the point of that? I don't know.
What was the point of it?
Did you catch it?
I caught the point of what you just said. You said 16:9. Take the one off that. What's it? What do you say? What do you call it?
No.
Nice.
No. No.
That's what I heard the whole time you were talking. That's what I was fixated. I don't remember a word you said.
I feel like we went through like our entire like degree program, and you just thought about aspect ratios, and you're going, so take that one off. You got someone take it off. Oh, he's gonna take it. No, he didn't. Okay,
and then
maybe next time.
And then, nice. All right, I haven't touched my notes yet. No, I did say watchmaker. Do people really sled on shovels?
I don't know. And that
scene, do you think that would fucking work? Is my
for sure
follow up.
Well, so my thought was like, where did they get all those shovels?
Oh, they stole them from their fathers. They were pissed. That's why they all got beat. He didn't lose his hearing in the water. He got beat fucking in the head for stealing the shovel when he got home.
Well, it was both of them.
Oh, they both got beat.
Because they're brothers. Why would they have two shovels? That was my main thought.
That's why the one kid didn't have a leg when he took off his. Wait,
what?
It was a dream. What the fuck?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought the brother didn't have a leg because I dreamed that. Oh, hang on.
Okay, hang on. So you had like a ghost visit you in the middle of the night.
No, why did I think there was a part where he took off his leg and there was money in it? Is that another movie? Is that another movie?
What?
Was that was at the end of this movie?
No. No.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh.
Okay, hang on. Tell me.
Hang on. Are you positive at the end when they're giving him the money that he didn't take off his leg? Because I thought it was from the war.
Okay, no.
Like he got his leg shot off.
Tell me.
No,
movie.
At the end.
Explain to me the movie, and then tell me like the part with the guy taking his leg off.
At the fucking end, his brother shows up and he takes off his fucking leg.
He
and
was
there's
a
money in
pilot.
it.
He didn't get shot ever.
It could have been in the crash.
It was. There was no
diabetes.
Crash. There was no diabetes.
Oh well, hang on.
I want to know about
Either
your
way,
dream movie.
His dad beat him. I'm sorry about that, guys.
His dad, when
his leg came off.
His dad was like 90 years old. When he found out that he had a stroke, I was like,
You're
of
right,
course he did.
It ends with them singing. He doesn't take his fucking leg off.
No.
Well,
no, he took his leg off. Okay, he took his leg off. He dumped money out of it, and then he played it like a trumpet. That's when they started singing.
Like a recorder. So no, to make the sound, you got to pull the toes off for the air out. No, you play the toes.
You play the toes like a trumpet. They're like the valves. Jesus. I love that this like movie has gotten inside your head enough that
it's because of my
you had a dream about
it's because of my room. It's so dark and I sleep so heavy when I finally sleep up there. Because I sleep on the couch all the time, so when I go up to my room, it's like really dark and there's no fucking windows. Got to draw the curtains like Scrooge, and yeah, I sleep too deep. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. You don't really want to slumber like a bear.
I think the problem is that you're too stingy with your money and like a ghost of your former partner came and visited you last night.
But I didn't remember the lesson.
No, the lesson is like if you see a guy with a fake leg, he's probably got money in it. You got the wrong lesson.
When you get the money out, when you're empty, you realize you need to make more, so you play it like a trumpet, and then they throw money
like
at
a
you,
hot jazz band.
and then you stuff it back in the leg. Yeah, we figured this out.
Then you dump it out and give it to your brother, who lost $8,000.
It wasn't him; he didn't lose it.
Well,
do your impression, would you please? Because you do it so well and so much that I expect it to be in the movie when he was grabbing his uncle. Come on, where's the money? He did such a good Jimmy Stewart.
Where's the money?
No,
I need it.
No,
what does he say?
You fat fucking bastard.
You old rummy.
You're not doing it. He can do it really well, but he had you stupid fat bastard.
I don't remember doing this in my life ever.
So
I may have.
Sorry, everybody.
I did it in school. We had like our for one of our audio classes. The final was like you had to take a video and replace all of the audio. So any dialogue, any voiceover, any sound effects, any music, all that stuff. and I got one of my friends to do a scene from this movie with me because I wanted to work on my Jimmy Stewart, and we did the whole like, I'll lasso the moon. Like we did that whole thing. Like
What class was this for?
it was for Audio 3. Audio 3.
I took that.
Yeah.
I don't
So that's
know
what I
how to
did for
do
my final.
anything in Pro Tools.
And I recently
took
found
3
it.
classes on it.
3 semesters.
I passed all of them, by the way.
Well, because in that class,
You just show up.
he would go over the assignment in class every time.
I had a problem. I don't know if you remember the first audio. I had problems where I was always copying off you.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is going on? Because I couldn't pay attention.
So easy.
It was hard. It's a
So
difficult
easy.
class to pay
Which is
attention.
why I am the engineer of this show.
Why? What is influenza?
The flu. It's the flu.
That's old timey flu, huh?
Yeah.
That's like original COVID.
I mean, I guess.
Because it said to treat for influenza, and then it was just poison. He just get poisoned. So I was thinking like he's like a representation of Fauci.
No. No. What the fuck is wrong with you? No, but it did take place during the Spanish flu, like because the first scene is 1919.
I was embarrassed. I did have to look it up. I was like, I don't know what that is. I think it's some kind of fucking
the
virus.
flu.
Some kind of virus, I guess.
Influenza.
Oh.
Flu.
Oh, that makes more sense than what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's got to be a foreign country, right?
Oh, jeez.
Influence, like France? Or no,
man-
that's Florence. Fuck.
So that's in Italy.
Fuck!
And also Kentucky, y'all.
I was all over the place on this one.
So we
Whoops. Why is it an ice cream pharmacy?
well, that was a thing.
An ice cream pharmacy?
Yeah, that was a thing back in the day. The drugstore would have like the soda counter, like the fountain.
I didn't know
and
it
ice
was
cream
the drugstore. I thought it was just the soda float
No,
store.
it was drugstore. That was frequently a drugstore.
But with a drunk back there?
Well, I mean, Mr. Gower just lost his son to influenza.
I have another paranoid idea.
I don't think.
I think he leaves
hey,
that paper. What?
I don't think the medicine was for influenza. I think the son died of influenza.
That's-
the
you're
medicine
right.
was for
You're
someone
right.
something
You're right.
else. I forget what it was.
You're right. That's how my idea did make sense. But here's how it does make sense.
Dude,
is
when
that he leaves that document out there all the time.
telegram.
So he can still
Document.
document. So he can poison the town, and every time they come and they're like, "You killed another person," he's like, "But my son died from the Florence disease."
It's a lie.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like he's a serial killer.
He's
And
been in
that's
the
a good-
crazy house since his business closed. God.
Yeah, 20 years
Yeah.
for murdering that boy or whatever.
That was Mr. Gower.
Didn't you feel for Jimmy when he was a child
When
and
he's
getting
getting
whacked
his ear
in the
beat
ear?
and there's blood. I was like, oh my. He's like, don't hit my bad ear no more, sir.
That's my favorite scene in this by far. Is the
It's
little
so
boy?
intense.
God will tell us so. Like, because you just feel so bad for him.
No,
That
yeah,
actor
because
did
his
a
son
great
died.
job.
And, yeah.
Hey, also the Vi eating the ice cream. She eats slow as shit because he went and did a whole thing and came back and that ice cream was hardly touched.
Because she wanted to hang out with him because she was in
She just
love.
wanted to eat the coconut. That coconut looked great.
Oh, I hate coconut.
Ooh, that looked good. Got so hungry. Vi, whoever that was the casting director, Vi as a child and Vi as an adult look
Yeah.
identical
Yeah, they
to
do.
each other. Good
It
for
was
them.
great.
Well, do you think they were mother and daughter kind of
I think
thing?
it was the same person and they just waited.
You think so?
Just let her
Do
grow
you think
up.
that was special edition?
Just let her grow up.
They just,
It was like Boyhood.
oh. Boyhood.
Yeah, the movie. Richard Linklater movie. He filmed it over like 15
I
years.
was thinking Ice Cube, Boys in the Hood.
No, it wasn't
Or
Boys
Cuba
in the-
Gooding Jr., whatever.
No, that was John Singleton.
That seems made up.
He was a director.
Singleton?
Yeah.
Singletown. Where everyone fucks.
Or no one does.
Oh. No, that's Virgin Town.
Mm,
It's right. It's next door. It's
Yeah.
next town over.
Yeah. You've
What
got
else?
notes.
Yeah, I do.
Love to hear them.
Oh, I already tackled the how he's a serial killer. If you would
good
you
theory.
ever fucking go into business with a man that had to put strings on his finger every day?
Well, technically, he didn't go into business with him. Like his grandpa dad did.
Grandpa did.
Because he was an old man.
He didn't change at all. Some of these people, they didn't even attempt to age them.
No.
Like the pharmacy owner, they're like, nah, he's fine.
But also Jimmy Stewart, as like, even as a guy who has been out of high school for 4 years, it was like Jimmy Stewart is like
old.
35 years old at least.
Yeah, I mean,
at that point,
they're like, what do we do to make him look 20 years younger? They're like, bow tie.
Nothing.
Like, no,
we do nothing.
No, bow tie is the opposite.
No, it makes him look like a granddad or like a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, I will say that when they were doing the dance thing over that cool ass gymnasium that had a fucking 4 foot thick floor that just rolls back, wherever the hell was that? I mean, that was badass. But when they're dancing and they're like, all right, if you get tapped, then you're out. I'm like, the way those people were dancing, no one should have got tapped. That was the most amazing fucking high school dance I'd ever seen. Doing the Charleston and shit and the butterfly.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good. I could have just watched that for like another.
So
up until the hour and 20 minutes, I could have just been dancing for me.
So that was,
and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself.
We stopped dancing. I don't want to live anymore if I can't dance.
You could have told the story, the exact same story, but everyone's dancing the whole time.
Yeah,
that would be the movie. And then like, what would the guy with no legs be? Like, does he have Potter?
There's no guy with no legs.
Potter? Well, they don't work.
You're obsessed with people not having legs.
Well, he just had maracas. Doing a little siesta.
No, he had something like annoying that people didn't like.
His legs were on siesta.
Jesus. Okay, like in that scene, so the whole like backstory is like constantly trying to show George as like, helpful and like benefiting the community and making things better and all that kind of stuff. And in that scene, the principal of the school is like, George saved us some money by suggesting we put the pool under the gym floor. And like that, like,
there's no way.
There's no way that saved money. It cost so much more money.
First off, that had to have been a tiny pool because the doors could only retract half the length, right?
Yeah, it was insane.
So, like, that'd be like imagine a basketball court with like half of it size pool. That's a tiny pool. You couldn't do laps in it or anything.
It was a pool that was like the width of the gym of the basketball court.
And once again, those fucking, I don't want to say Thunderdome, but those fucking bomb-proof fucking that floor was at least 4 foot thick, right? I'm not imagining that. It was
2 or 3, but
it was insanely thick.
It was very
floor.
thick.
Like, I just don't quite understand. The concrete and rebar alone. How would you?
The mechanism of it was like
it saved money. Are you insane?
Although I will say this, and this is something like in high school I was like amazed at when they would like when the seats in the like the gym for the basketball, like when the bleachers, when they would retract them in,
it's neat.
Mechanical. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I kind of thought about that when like the floor was open. I was like, maybe it's a kind of similar thing.
No, it's a similar thing as I just watched The Faculty, where the end they crushed the alien in the same setup, and I'm like, there's no way that thing's strong enough to crush a fucking alien.
Oh, it would, man.
Think so?
Yeah, I think kids got killed in those things.
Well, they're not aliens. Well, maybe the foreign ones.
Maybe the alien was a kid.
Huh.
I've never seen The Faculty.
Oh, I get it, like a young alien.
Yeah.
Well, that
like a
just
baby
makes
alien.
You think about
like,
how they killed about infanticide.
Think of it this way. This might help you like to picture it in your head. It's the Jodie Foster of aliens.
Okay. Listen, I don't want you guys to think that I think about her.
I just really want to hammer home that
the
Jodie
only time
Foster
I
is
ever
a
think
child
about
in that
Jodie
movie.
Foster is when I come here to record.
The only time I think of Jodie Foster is when I'm alone.
I did, like, the rest of that evening, the first episode, I did think about it. Like, that's true.
About like,
I couldn't stop
maybe
thinking
I
about
shouldn't have said that creepy thing about a child.
No, that's not what I thought about. I was thinking about man, I just don't know. There's something about her.
I just thought about like how
obsessed.
good Silence of the Lambs is.
No, not in comparison.
Oh, it's so much better than
Like
Freaky Friday. You're out of your mind.
The character. I wasn't entranced with her in Silence.
Why don't you turn that high-powered gaze on yourself, Mr. Lecter?
God, yeah, her rebuttal was like, all right, settle down there, country trash. Fucking garbage. He's a genius. You're not going to win.
You're one generation removed from West Virginia trash. It's like, goddamn.
I love when he does it.
Coming in hot.
With your poor shoes, or what's it called?
I don't remember.
With your cheap shoes and your dirty rouge. I'm just rhyming. I don't think he said any of that.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Let's watch it.
Anyway, what notes do you got? I've been nailing them all.
Notes?
Like Jodie Foster.
Who's got...
Hey, okay. When he's getting his suitcase or briefcase, whatever the hell it was.
Suitcase.
Oh, it was suitcase?
Yeah.
He said, if you want this old hand job. Did you catch that?
Think he says hand
No, I swear to
job.
God. No, this old second hand job. That's what it was.
Second hand
this
job.
old second hand job.
I guess I didn't put those...
Have you ever got a second hand job? Like, once you get the one, you're not like, hey, like, let's get another one.
Well,
going.
hang on. Do you
'Cause
mean like...
if you fuck, you're like, oh, I could go again. But if someone gives you a hand job, you're like, no, it's quite enough.
You're like, I'm good.
I'm
okay.
I'm done. No.
Huh.
I've never heard second hand job. Like, if you're having a threesome and one's doing it, you never look at the other one like, well.
How about you? Crank me off too. No, that's weird. So, okay, hold on. Did you get the first hand job, or are you the second in a line of hand jobs?
Oh, that's what it is? It's a sloppy floppy?
Yeah.
No, I don't
know.
I've never been in a lineup in my life in that situation.
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always room for aspirations.
But going back to that dancing, man, that was just fucking white people having a great old fucking time, wasn't
yeah.
it? Like, because you looked around, because for a second, I went, I'm going to see if there is any other diverse. And I was like, nope, there's not. I just know there's fucking
there aren't
not.
Black people in Bedford Falls.
No, the only
That's part
time,
of what George does. He makes sure.
I think that the maid had a line early on, but the only time I remember a black person speak is when she comes in and goes, I was saving this for the divorce if I ever got married. And you're like, whoa, what a weird line.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the maid lives in Bedford Falls.
Where does she live, Zach?
I don't know.
I was hoping you were going to have another name.
No, I don't know.
Singletown?
I think they don't let, like, people of color live in Bedford Falls.
Wow.
Except for Martini, who's an immigrant.
That's your person. Oh, he's on the outskirts of town. They put the.
Hey, he got his own house.
They put the bar.
They put the goat in the car.
What? Did I miss that part?
I don't know. So after George,
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know what you missed or not. Maybe it was in your dream.
Oh, see, that's the problem. Is like I don't know what actually happened in the movie.
Yeah. So Martini bought a house, and they were moving him out of the Potter house, and George was like, "I'll take the kids in the car," and then they loaded the kids up, and then they put a goat in as well.
If you stole your not friend's girl,
yeah. Sam Wainwright.
and then dancing with her. And then he made you fall into the super pool.
Well, that wasn't Sam Wainwright.
I know.
That was a different... Okay.
I know. I'm going back to the pool dance thing. Why did she take off her underwear to walk home?
They were wet.
She was just in the robe, but so what?
Because they were wet.
Because, like, when she, like, runs away out of her robe, it seemed like you would be clutching that robe pretty hard. When she, like, runs
she ran away because George was going to kiss her.
Yeah. And then she was naked. Like, that whole scene was uncomfortable.
It was.
I didn't like it.
I've never been in a situation like this.
And even when he throws the rope, he doesn't. He sets it on the bush. He's still like...
And then he leaves because his dad had a stroke.
And I was thinking, like, what you probably should have done is thrown it at her or something to give the... Like, there was a couple times where he did things that was against what they wanted the character to be.
Yeah. He's kind of gruff.
He was
like
a little
bit
of a dick.
Yeah, he was kind of. But it was like, part of that was because he was like, I think they were trying to show his like unhappiness with his life.
The progression should have built, but sometimes he was the greatest guy in town, but he would just still say something. You're like, oh, it's not right.
Well, okay, so like,
the character.
what did you think about
I know he's
like,
not supposed to be perfect, but it was still just odd.
What did you think about like the hard cut between like he goes over to see Mary and like makes fun of like her little like picture that she drew of him lassoing the moon?
That's what I'm talking about.
No, then he's on the phone with it, and he's like shaking her like, I'm never gonna get married, and then
What was
hard
that?
cut to they're married.
Why did he have to decline the job?
I don't know.
Because he wanted to. I'm never getting married.
Because he was gonna leave.
I don't
and
want
then-
anything to do with plastic, and I don't want to get married into the marriage. You're like, what?
So weird.
Well, then if you were gonna do that, why didn't you take the job?
Or like invest so you'd make that money from Sam Wainwright. You
some
just made
money.
a bad decision.
Take that 500.
I don't want any ground floors and plastic, and I'm
Why?
never getting married.
Why?
I don't know.
They could take that 500 you put into your death insurance and put it to your boy Sam. That hee-haw shit had to go. I understood. I wouldn't remember that guy either had he not kept going hee-haw, but I wish it would have stopped.
It was annoying. Man, that's
Wish
just
it
a
was
thing that
anything
people
else.
did. I don't know.
Why didn't he put his thumb on his nose and wiggle his fingers like a
Because
turkey?
it's like a donkey. Hee-haw.
Yeah, but that's not. Like, what I'm doing is like...
You wanted him to go like,
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been acceptable for everyone.
I don't know.
So now that you talked about the when they got married, she was a flight attendant. She got married in a blue suit dress. Do you notice her dress looked like what flight attendants used to wear in the 50s?
You watched the color version.
Yeah,
I did not.
it was blue. Oh yeah, when that thing's blue, you're like, oh, that's.
You're like, I
It's
didn't
just
know
a-
I was watching Catch Me If You
It's,
Can.
it's just no. It's that's it. That's it. It looks like a stewardess
Pan Am.
without the hat. You're like, okay, well,
Thought she was lovely.
I mean,
Well, we didn't even
Sure.
mention it's Donna Reed, and she's great.
for
I
an
thought-
old biddy, she's probably dead now.
I love, I really love when George asks Clarence like what Mary is doing, and he's like, she's just about to close up the library. Why was that why did he
I don't
say
know.
it that way?
I don't know.
Like it was, he said it like it was like a scary.
Don't fucking get it.
No, George, you don't want to know. Tell me where she's just about to close the library.
So when Clarence shows up and they're in the bar and he says
Yeah.
double bourbon, he really shoots it. You think at that point that he's not going to drink anymore because he's already drunk. So then when he does take the drink and just slams the double bourbon, you're like, well, maybe he was just hallucinating. It does kind of discredit the situation, like it might not be real, like it might just be in his head, which I guess is still to the same end.
Yeah,
But
because he saw
yeah,
a vision.
it
Like you
seems-
said, a
it's-
dream would.
It does seem like if I was the director, I would have had him order the drink, but then they get thrown out before he takes the drink. Because it is, at that point, I was thinking, like, oh, maybe this is supposed to be projected as he's just a drunken stupor.
Yeah.
Like, he
Well-
felt like he hit the tree in the car and fell asleep and just imagined all of it,
He
maybe.
blacked out and had this fantasy and
Yeah.
like,
Because that just added an element of, like, oh, wait, no, he's just drunk.
yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, I don't know. The portrayal of like George Bailey like being affected by alcohol is like it doesn't affect him. He's drinking and is like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
he's still holding it together for the most part. He plays drunk as he needs to.
which I guess isn't like, I don't know. I don't.
It's more, and not even plays drunk. He just says he's drunk. Oh, it's probably because I've been drinking. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that, and it's I don't know if that falls on Jimmy Stewart or if that falls on Frank Capra or if it's
be
just
both.
like or if
it always falls on the director because if they allow it, then
That's a fair point. And I guess I don't know if it's just like a matter of like, this is what the story requires, and so this is what we'll do. Like, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense. Almost like they're handcuffed to the script as it's written. I don't know.
can I ask you something?
I wish you would.
I kept coming back to this, and I didn't want to bring it up, but it was something I couldn't get around. How do banks work?
I think so. A big part of like this movie is about like the bank and the building and loan and stuff. And part of the problem with that is because like there had been a lot of like banking reform in this country around that time because of the Great Depression and all that kind of stuff. So like that scene where there's a run on the bank, that's the Depression.
How was Potter gonna buy the shares at 50 cents?
Because
on the dollar?
the way that it worked then was like it wasn't like you're putting your money in a bank and it sits there. You were like buying shares that like you could cash back in to get your money, but like that's how they loaned money out, is because you put the money in and then they would loan the money out to build, and then those people would pay their mortgages. Like it was a whole system that like was very contingent on people not coming to get their money all at once.
Yeah.
And like That's why like the FDIC exists. Like that's why like Federal Deposit Insurance Company is like it insures these banks. So if there's a run on the bank, they will stay solvent.
It just didn't seem like Potter would be able to purchase the bank.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, they were like privately owned.
That's why I was really
I mean, they're still
confused.
privately owned, but like, you know, it was like it was looking back at the like economic landscape prior to the Great Depression and like the like Wall Street crash and all that is like, yeah, it was really like beneficial to like the people with money and the people who could go in and do that kind of thing. And like Potter is a great example of that, like this kind of guy who's like, yeah, I've got money, so I'm going to buy everything up. And like George Bailey like mentions, you know, he's already got the bank, he's already got the department store, like he's got this.
I was thinking about the misappropriation charge that you were talking about, like like immediately they're like, you're going to get arrested because you've been stealing. And it's like, would that really happen, or would you have a court? You would have a court case.
Obviously, but like I don't know.
I know it was eccentric because it was a movie, but I'm like, what would happen if you were like, oh no, it was misplaced, and everyone around you said, no, we saw him here with the money, it was misplaced. Like, I don't know if you're the owner, the quote unquote owner or manager of a bank. What does happen if you just accidentally?
I think Uncle Billy goes down for that because it was him, but
I mean, like, is there an actual like criminal punishment for fucking making a mistake at a bank?
Well, I know
because if you like lost money in other business, you wouldn't be held accountable. You'd go bankrupt
because it's other people's money.
Yeah,
like because you've taken other people's money and lost it.
Yeah.
I think in like today's,
you would just be sued.
Yeah, in today's society, like financial institutions are so well insulated against that like people steal from it all the time.
Yeah, but say for instance that like, you know, like someone's bank gave their ex-wife some money of theirs because they didn't understand how to separate the accounts. Like, can I make Tom go to jail?
No, no, because he's not the owner.
Well, damn. All right.
I mean, but you know, you could swear out a warrant like Potter did.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I'll hand draw it.
I don't know how that works.
I'll hand draw. It'll be in crayon, and it'll just be an old wanted poster. That's all it's gonna be.
I think it's
wanted for giving money to my ex-wife.
Quit giving my money to my ex-wife. Yeah, you know, maybe secretly Tom is like on her side and is like, you should give her this money.
Oh, you think he's on the payroll? I mean, what's a good cut of $500?
Maybe morally, he just thinks like that she deserves it.
Oh, because
she's
I'm
like,
the
you
man.
Really fucked her over.
Because I'm the breadwinner. No, I got it. I get it. I mean, I
think
don't.
anybody's ever won bread as a prize?
I don't get it. Ducks always win it as a prize. God, I need a duck.
That's a bad answer.
What?
I think you just like ducks.
I love ducks.
Want to talk about them?
By far. Like, of all animals, ducks are the best. They're so fucking cool. They're buoyant. They can fucking fly when they want to. They're catty. They'll fucking tell you all about the shit that they think you did.
And they quack.
They don't. I mean, they're not just quacking. They're like they're like fucking angry. Like they should have a cigar. Like, their feet are neat. You can throw. I feel like they weigh nothing. If I finally caught one, they'd weigh nothing. They got those green heads. They made for life, so they're really good role models. You're like, good. There's stability there. Oh, they walk in lines. God, they're fucking neat.
You love ducks.
Oh, I
so
love
much.
Ducks. I don't want pictures of them though. You know, people like have pictures of mallards flying and shit.
Yeah,
like. You know, the whole Fargo thing where he's painting ducks?
Yeah.
I don't want pictures of the ducks.
If I take a picture of a duck...
a picture of a duck's pretty neat.
I'm going to print it out for you and give it to you.
Yeah, I don't want I'm sorry. I meant paintings. I don't want, like, natural scenery with ducks. I would like a picture of a duck. A
photograph of a duck?
Yeah, with his name underneath, like a scroll. Said his name.
Clarence, the duck.
I did have that picture of a duck smoking a cigarette as my profile
You
picture.
did, yeah.
That was pretty good.
You did.
Oh, they're neat.
What's your take on...
And here's the thing. And they're like, oh, so like ducks and geese? No, never a fucking
geese
goose.
Are awful.
Fucking terrible. And they get one honk.
They're vicious. What's your take on like the like green-headed duck versus like the white duck? What do you prefer?
Well, the white ones are more majestic. Let's get that out the way. But I would like a white one, but I don't think I could keep it clean, but I'm pretty sure that's not my fucking job.
What about those ducks with all the different colors?
But the green one, the green ones are the males, and then the brown ones are the female. That's the thing. That's how they find each other. Greenhead's neat. You're definitely like sticking out with your
I like green.
ass
It's
head.
just a lovely color.
They got the corkscrew dicks, which we've been over. Made for life. I think I'm going white. As long as I don't gotta clean that shit, because if it gets so dirty it becomes brown, well then it's got a brown duck. Because I'm not.
No,
cleaning
you have to clean it.
Well, I think they go under. And you know what's neat about them is when they go hunt and their butts are in the air. They're like, I don't care. Like
they're like, kiss my butt.
No, it's like kiss my butt, but also like, sure, come get me. Like, but they always works out for them.
I really like
and
this term we've taken.
And I don't like I think the meat's greasy, so I'd never eat them. They'd always be my friend.
Have you had duck? You like duck?
No, it's greasy. I don't like it.
Okay.
So I would never slaughter it.
Okay. Would you eat the eggs though? Have you ever had a duck egg?
Oh, I heard they're greasy too. They're more fatty. I don't want to eat any egg other than what I grew up eating.
What about an ostrich
I don't
egg?
like the idea of eating eggs. First off,
What about a lizard egg?
the only reason I eat eggs is because that's what I was born doing.
Because you were born doing.
Yeah, the first thing I remember my dad cracking an egg on my head and dropping it in my mouth. He said, "It's for your train." He said, "It's for your training."
Yeah.
Like Rocky.
Because you were born to Eye of the
Eat
Tiger.
eggs.
Like
I was born to eat
when
eggs.
you came out, Eye of the Tiger was playing, and your dad cracked an egg on your head.
Yeah, it's just a miscarriage.
Wow.
It's a chicken miscarriage.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
It's kind of the same thing.
No.
Well, like, here's the thing. If a woman menstruates, we all know this. Now, if they did it in egg form and there was just a blood ball on the inside, would you ever crack it open? Like, who wants eggs? Like,
into a frying pan? Yeah, of course.
it would just look like fucking ham. Fried ham.
I don't know that it would.
You want to talk about this movie again?
I mean, I don't want to talk about eating human eggs anymore.
Well, that's what this led to. The moment you mention ducks, you know that's where the conversation is going.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this: when Potter makes George the offer,
Yeah.
come work for me $20,000 a year,
With his plastic ass hair.
do you think he should have taken the offer?
Yeah, I have a note in here that says,
I kind of feel like it was irresponsible not to.
What do you think would happen in the 3 years? Number one, do you think there would be shenanigans in the contract? Or do you think he would get him, like give him promotions, get all the information out of Jimmy for 3 years, and then just fuck him over at the end? I think that's 100% what would happen.
I don't know, but I think it's also possible that like Potter's like, hey, I can't beat this guy. Maybe I hire him on, and he just makes me more wealthy, and then I don't have to worry about it. Like,
I think Potter would never learn a lesson though.
No.
So I think he 100% he'd screw him in the contract or wait to get everything out of him and then screw him after the
I
contract.
think he might have done whatever he needed to do to make himself more wealthy. Like, I think that's kind of his move.
Yeah. So if it was working out for him with Jimmy, he would have just kept him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I might have taken it if I were Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah, like I need this, I can still help the town by doing this.
Yeah.
Because he's cunning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
but then what happens?
I think the town would have got behind Jimmy even if he was working for Potter.
I think so too. But like, what happens to the building and loan if he leaves? It goes under.
Well, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't. I don't think it would go under. I think it would be renamed. It would basically become like he'd have like to con Jimmy. I think Potter would. They'd be like, oh, you can still run it, and it would be under a new name. It's the same company, but then totally remodel it.
Well, he'd have to buy it out though.
Yeah.
So that wasn't what he was. He was hiring Jimmy to come, or George to come run his.
Well,
his stuff.
his uncle would let it go at that point, and they would put it up for auction. Or whatever.
And Potter was on the board already,
like in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. That'd be a tough call, man. I don't know. Like,
but I get why he said no. I mean, that's the underdog mentality.
I get the idealism of it.
It's the whole probability versus possibility.
Yeah.
Like it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Just because you can limp on for another couple of years doesn't mean you always should.
It doesn't mean you should. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to think about his kids too and his wife.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, his kids, his wife, his whole extended family, like everyone.
Yeah, like I think like George Bailey is like the ultimate like. Sacrifices his own happiness and his own like stability in exchange for like doing better for everyone else.
Potter is old. If he would have got in his good graces as much as they can be, getting his good graces, when Potter dies, he probably would leave everything to a trust or something, let the business keep going, and then Jimmy takes over. Like that.
Yeah, he
that
has
would
no
be,
family.
That
like,
would be a smart play. So yeah. I think had he had more patience, he could have thought of that.
Yeah, but I think part of it is like he thought he was doing more good for the community, like outside of working for Potter and making sure that he didn't control everything.
He did it because the audience needed that to happen for the story.
Well, right.
That's the answer, Zach.
I guess.
Don't ask me anymore. Do you want to
Well,
talk
I like
about that
to talk
record
about
player
character
rotisserie
motivation.
chicken player?
Did you love that?
Were you jealous?
What, that we didn't think of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
You listen to some old timey music and cook a chicken. 2 chickens.
2 chickens. They were small and weird.
Oh yeah, it was Cratchit's house.
Now, did you? That is a good
Call.
a good parallel, like for sure. I like that. But did you think it was weird that they got married like early in the day, and then he had to go to work basically, like because of the run on the bank?
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So weird. I was like, did they get married like on a work day, like early, and then they go travel? I guess
Well,
I don't.
It's custom back in the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back in the day.
We weren't alive then.
in the rip roaring 20s.
Was it? Yeah, I guess it was.
No, it was 30s by then.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well,
I'm honestly, we can keep going, but I'm out of notes on it. So
you won't have anything to talk about unless
No, I
it's
will.
duck related.
I mean, gosh, I've already hit all my fucking bullet points. I'm just trying to think now in the past
Greenheads,
experience.
Made for Life.
I do.
Fly when they want to.
I was almost gonna say, do you think? I know we talked about chicken wings the other day about breaking them or something. I don't think you could do that with a duck. I think they're too glorious.
Look, here's the
Oh,
thing.
you know what? They got movies after them. The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, they are mighty. No, here's the thing about
They
that.
fly in the V, so they look bigger. That's fucking smart. Gosh. Feathers, put them in pillowcases. There's everything about
Their down
a duck
is very warm.
is fucking efficient. And even their feet are like little paddles.
I love how much you love ducks.
I think that's it for the week. That's all. I'm literally done. I think that's the high note.
That's it for me.
I'm packing. I
No,
packed
here's
up
the
my
thing.
shit right now.
It wasn't about. You're like, oh, do you think the thing where you break a chicken's wing would work for a duck?
Clip it, yeah.
No, but you said break, and that's
Well,
what I'm
that's the
saying is
same
they
thing.
don't break it. It's not the same.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the odds
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
me doing
you
it
can clip
right.
it. You can do it with any bird.
But why?
Any bird's in captivity, so they can't fly away.
Like an ostrich.
No, they don't fly.
That's why you break their legs.
And
And they just roll around.
they stick
Big
their head in the
old-
sand.
Just a big old bird rolling around to get its food.
I do. So I think in addition to like the Christmas Carol stuff, all that, like those parallels, I think this is also a very American story. Like the whole idea of like, you know, growing up in a small town that you want to get out of and see the world and do new things, but being held back by your responsibilities and like doing what's right for your family versus doing what's necessarily right for you.
A lot of American values.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's really interesting.
I do like the premise now of I know I kind of off the cuff said that Jimmy was Cratchit, but now you kind of see it as like, yeah, because in a way Jimmy's kind of working with Potter, like Scrooge and Cratchit, and like, yeah, they have this conflict where they have to work with each other, even though there's a lot of animosity. It was really the chickens at the end when we were talking about like how at his house he had these 2 small chickens.
Yeah.
So
I think the power dynamic is definitely different. Like, obviously, the power dynamic between like Scrooge and Cratchit is like very
it's like a parallel universe where they fucking were actually like in competition.
a little more equals. Yeah. It's like they're competing against each other a little better. And I think like one thing that I kind of noticed was that like Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, he's terrorizing all these people. He's imposing his will. He's making people's lives harder and doing all this stuff
by hogging all the corn and grain.
Yeah, but in It's a Wonderful Life, Potter, the Scrooge character, is held at bay by George Bailey. George Bailey is keeping him from terrorizing these people. He's doing everything he can to prevent his further Scroogification.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like the portion of the story right before it's like the year before Marley dies, like what was actually happening. You know what I'm saying? Where it was just becoming a conglomerate.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that I was a little concerned. Like, I when we were picking up movies, like, we threw this one in there, and I thought, like, oh, yeah, this one has, like, that vibe. And I was like...
It was either this or Ghost of Christmas Past. So
Ghosts
I still think
of Girlfriends Past.
No, I still think we made the right choice.
I don't know. I still think we maybe should have done it because it's such a stupid idea, and we would be angry about it, and those are fun episodes, but,
If you want to see us do Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, just fucking send us a thumbs up.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Just as a smoke signal. Just
Well,
send
so
it to
I was a little concerned that, like, oh man, maybe we won't have, and especially after last week. Last week I was a little worried too after I watched the It's Always Sunny Christmas special, but like that we wouldn't have like enough to talk about with it. But like with this one, I was a little concerned that it wasn't gonna.
It was a different take.
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
But I was a little concerned that we wouldn't have enough to like dive into on this one. But like after we watched it, like. Man, it really, like, the parallels are there, and it definitely is, like, taking the classic Christmas Carol story and making it its own thing for, like, I don't know, it's hard to say modern times when the movie's, like, 70 years old, but, like,
I think the problem is, do you have any idea how often you say worry? You worried about something? I don't worry. I got rid of the terminology, and I've been better. And with Chris's new book out, Life Expectancy of a Duck, you will gain the wisdom and knowledge that I have about terminology and how it affects your audience and listeners as a whole. So just write in, send a thumbs up, smoke signal, and I will send you a new copy. The updated version's coming out next month. And, until then, this has been Kleestoff signing off.
Well, and that brings me to a great point. My new book, Ducks Don't Worry, Definitive Guide to Living Your Best Life as a Duck and Further Life Lessons of a Man Living His Best Life, by Zach George, is available in stores now. So, thanks for reminding me that I had to promote that one real quick before we left.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Knock, knock.
Who's
Scrooged.
knocking at my changer door? Oh.
We're doing Scrooge. I just remembered it.
When?
Because we have to tell them about it.
We're doing it next week, though?
Or
yes, this week?
That's exactly what I said. I said next week we're doing Scrooge, but I remembered it, and I wanted to let you know that I remembered without your memory.
I think what we're doing is a film called Scrooged with a D at the end.
Did I not say with
You
the
said
D?
Scrooge
Duh.
multiple times.
Nah, there was a D. There's always a D. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about your penis again?
Maybe.
Or still?
Yeah, we got to watch the Bill Murray.
As always.
The Bill Murray one.
Penis.
With the D.
Bill Murray with the D. So next week is Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Again. But this time he's piece
Scrooge,
of shit. Piece
I
of
guess.
shit again. Is this the same thing? Like is he the same character?
We'll find out next week.
Oh, boy.
And with that, I think people should go watch this movie. And yeah, it's Christmas time, so you're probably going to anyway.
It's either Christmas or the week before Christmas. So whatever it is, you guys enjoy your Christmas time.
Yeah. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Well, thanks for listening this week, everybody. Go tell your friends about us, and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what we do, you can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us online at KeystoneCopycats.com. We're at Keystone Copycats on Instagram and Facebook, and at Keystone Copycat on Twitter, where we do almost nothing. If you've got something to say, you can email us at keystonecopycats@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 513-239-7682. Listen to Singularity: A Dinosaur's Tale every Friday, and until our next Holly Jolly episode, I'm going to be Zach, and he will be...
Please.
That's right. Go read our competing duck life advice books.
Bye.